My name is Derek Panucci. I'm a junior at Oakland University. I'm studying mechanical engineering.
My name is Dominic Bruce. My major is mechanical engineering.
My name is Bianca Vitale. My major is mechanical engineering, and my role on the team is I am a chassis engineer, and I am also the secretary.
My role on the team is chassis director.
I'm the team president with Grizzlies Racing. Formula SAE itself is a big governing body around colleges all around the nation and the world.
A student organization where we build and design a new car every year.
A group of college friends that gets together and builds a cool race car.
I am making sure that everyone has everything that they need, so if they need help doing the design release paperwork, if they need help designing something, I just kind of go wherever I'm needed.
There's a lot that goes into just being a team president. A lot of the branches that I have to look over with business as well as just treasury.
My name is Emma Ferguson. I am the treasurer, so I do pretty much buy everything that goes on the car. And we have multiple different sources of income, so I buy some things here, other things other places, and so it's kind of hard to keep track of all of that and knowing, do we have enough money for that? Or when people buy the wrong thing and then they waste $250 on a 20-foot pole for no reason.
Every part either has to get paid for or it's sponsored. And so their money and the service has to come from somewhere. We have to decide whether we have to pay for it or we get sponsored. Companies that sponsor us want to see a car do well. These aren't just like your Jimmy John's down the street or your Blaze Pizza. These are companies that want to see results and they want to see the car do well and they want to see their name on the car that's winning. And so if we don't do well and we don't have a complete car, no company is going to want to have their name associated with us.
How long do you have until you need the car running?
We have less than 2 weeks.
The car needs to be running by April 1st.
What are you doing to make sure the car gets done this year?
Specifically this week, make sure the frame gets done.
So my name is Ruben Parra. I do some welding. It was a learning curve. Really, I was pretty bad at it when I started doing it, but pretty good at it now. I'm welding the chassis now, so I'm enjoying it.
I do have a project for next season, but I help here and there, but I don't have any major chassis tasks as at this point. My main is treasure.
If the car's not running, all the leads and skeleton crews, what I call, is the people that usually stay throughout the nights, and they do more than we ask them, which is always awesome. And we'll be working on the car day in and day out just because we need the car running. And so if we basically work really hard to get it done by April 1st, we don't have to do those nights. What that means is once it gets back, electrical's going in the car, powertrain's going into the car, chassis is going in the car. So this week's going to be very important for us so we can hit our benchmarks on Fridays. Any questions, let us know, but let's get it working. Let's get it working. This is the last weekend we have with GR22. What we're looking to get out today is we want to make sure we're trying to see values of tuning on our map and see how the car can react. We're not really looking for a lot out of it because this is the last day we're going to be using it, and then all of powertrain's taken out of it. So mainly just to see how the car reacts, and if we do change something, it's reacting a certain way. So it's more of so we know what we can change to get a certain reaction out of the car, performance-wise. It's unfortunate that the car caught fire. It's kind of a good wake-up call for people that think it's, hey, cool, we get to build a race car, that's great. There's some serious consequences that go along with it. So I'm just glad that I was able to get out. Nothing else really prevented me from getting out, and we're moving on. Take the good points from what we got, we learn from our mistakes, and then we move on.
Yeah, when I woke up this morning, Derek sent a message in Leeds that the powder coat place hadn't even started. Which was news to us. While we're waiting for the frame to show up, chassis is mainly finishing up manufacturing of parts that are off the car or off the frame. And then we're cleaning up a lot of parts that are being reused on the next car, but they're all dirty from last year, so gotta use a lot of brake clean and go through those.
There are a few things that we can work with without the frame. It's mainly just validating that everything works. Like with the cooling system, we still have the frame from last year that we can work with and validating that. And then the other main thing would just be validating all the electrical harnesses. Other than that, it's pretty much just putting the car together and making sure everything works well.
We're planning to at least get the frame back Monday as soon as possible. Once we get the frame back Monday, We want to make sure that we're not falling behind in our test plans.
Not much of an update. Obviously the frame's not back. We were hoping it would be back, so kind of sucks. But biggest thing is powder coating company. They're gonna start powder coating either today or tomorrow. And then once we get that back, which we're expecting around the beginning of the week, then everything's gonna kind of go back on. We're kind of looking at 2 to 3 days of like putting stuff back in once we get the frame. So kind of like a tentative timeline right now. It all just depends when we get it back from the sandblasting company.
So good news, the frame finally arrived.
So now that the frame is back, what we need to do is we need to weld on the final tabs. Then after that, we're going to put the aircraft fabric on.
All the suspension needs to go on.
The suspension arms, the hubs, the whole entire wheel assembly.
Also, the powder coat adds a little bit of thickness to all the bolt holes, so we have to drill all of them out, so that's not fun.
First steps for the car is to get a rolling chassis. Rolling chassis essentially means the car can roll down a hill, and that incorporates all of suspension, our tires, everything that goes in between the tires. We get that all on, we get our brakes on, powertrain goes in.
And then connecting everything to the engine, so the exhaust, the intake, the cooling, everything like that. And then the final thing would be to put all the electrical components in.
So we had one major setback. There is a box that has to go through your whole frame. And if it can't, because of sizing issues with your frame, it is not rules legal, and we have to essentially cut our frame and re-weld it.
The 2 cross beams that basically just are zip tie holders for the electrical wiring were in the way and would not allow us to pass tech. So our plan is to basically heat up the welds and bend it until it passes egress.
This is where class application can only take you so far, where you're gonna have to kind of think outside the box to solve these problems. Yeah, so I won't be there when we first fire up the car. I have full trust in Ryan and Bianca, making sure the team's on schedule, all of our tech leads. I mean, this is something that we've been preparing for, and I have full trust and faith that everything goes smoothly.
Yeah, so Ryan just let me know I get to drive the car for the first time. It's somewhat a reward, but also it's kind of like a middle finger, because if anything goes wrong, which is most likely going to the very first drive, you're the one in the car, so.
So if we're testing, first thing we do is we have to get cones and barricades set up. After we attach all the aero and get whatever driver in driver gear, and they do their egress, which is getting out of the car in 5 seconds. So once we have the correct driver with all that knowledge, we start testing.
Driving that car is probably one of the best feelings you'll have in the world.
Yeah, it was definitely nerve-wracking. I wasn't confident in the entire car. I was confident in a lot of the chassis components because I knew more about them. But I was fully ready to jump out of the car if coolant hose came loose or something.
Monday we got the frame, and every day people just went in there, got what they needed to get done, and by Friday we were running it. It's cool.
I am very proud. Coming out of COVID, it was really rough for our team, and I'm glad that we had the opportunity to grow the team into what it is today.
We worked our way up from 6 or 7 members after COVID, and then I would say we have around 60 active that participate in complete projects, and then 30 that actively participate even more than, I would say, average. So it's a very big bunch, I feel great about the team right now. As long as we stay diligent and we keep solving problems like engineers are supposed to, I think there's nothing that we can't overcome. As long as we know that we're gonna have problems and we solve them, I think we're gonna be great.